What is up, my people? This is Restrict12. Very excited to bring you this brand new video. Today we're gonna go over my Eldlich Zombie World build with a new format and the release of Crossout Designator basically right around the corner. This is the deck that I'm gonna be running to try to combat the meta. Now, Crossout Designator is definitely gonna warp the format because hand traps are not gonna be a thing. I used to run some hand traps in this deck, but they're not gonna be as good. So I feel like running more cards that are not as common as, hand traps is going to be a little bit better, because Crossout Designator, you need to have the card in your deck to be able to negate it. So with that being said, guys, let's go ahead and move into the deck profile and see what we're going to be playing for the upcoming format. Now, the first card I'm going to be playing, we already know, boss monster of the deck. It is Eldlich the Golden Lord, and we're going to go ahead and play him at 2. 3 is a little bit too much. Now, I'm not gonna lie though, a card that's giving Eldlich a run for his money as the boss monster of the deck is Doom King Ballardrock. Now, Doom King is a great card because he can banish non-targeting, so bye-bye Dragoon, and also it has the ability to negate effects, which is great. The next one, we're gonna go ahead and run 2 copies of Necroworld Banshee. This card is great, is what's gonna help you get your zombie worlds on the field, and it's also going to protect them as well. Now, we're gonna run 1 copy of Glow Up Bloom. This is just to bring your Ballardrock onto the field, but every now and then you're gonna be bringing Eldlich as well with that card. Now, this card right here, guys, is what you want to open every single game. It is Unizombie. It is the start of the deck. It is one of the most crucial cards for this deck. This is kind of what gets the entire zombie world engine going, and every now and then it's also gonna help you get rid of Eldlich in your hand. All right, guys, and that is it for the monsters. And moving on, guys, we're gonna go ahead and talk about the spells. Now, for the spells, we run 3 copies of Cursed Eldlich. This card right here is a searcher for the Eldlich engine. Now, the cool thing about this card is that I also use it to bait negations. More often than not, whenever you start with this card, let's say I have a Pot of Prosperity in my hand, I'm always gonna use Cursed Eldlich first, because most likely they're gonna try to negate that. But for instance, Ash Blossom does not get rid of the card. So okay, I don't get to search for a Golden Land card, but now I can safely go ahead and activate my Pot of Prosperity or any searcher in my deck. Now, the next thing I'm gonna play is just that, is I'm gonna go ahead and play 3 copies of Pot of Prosperity. We don't play Extravagance. I personally feel like Pot of Prosperity is better because it allows you to look for exactly for the card that you're looking for. You don't just draw 2, which, don't get me wrong, it's a lot of advantage, but in a deck like this where you are trying to set Zombie World and also Rivalry of the Warlords to kind of lock your opponent, you want very specific cards. So I'm gonna run 3 Prosperities. The next thing I'm running, guys, this is right here something that I had to change because of the new format. I was running 3 Ash Blossoms and 2 Ghost Bells. Now, with Crossout Designator right around the corner, you want to run cards that are not too common. Now, that being said, Forbidden Droplet, a lot of players are playing this card. So it could be a target for a card like Crossout Designator. But the thing about Forbidden Droplet is that it at least has the chance to defend itself. If you discard a spell card, they cannot respond to it with Crossout Designator. And this deck runs a lot of spells. The other thing as well is, think about it, Crossout Designator is going to help combo decks be much better. So a lot of players that weren't playing combo might feel a little bit more confident playing their combo decks. So you're gonna see them a lot more. Crossout Designator was a huge boost for combo decks. So if you're not going first, chances are is that you're gonna have to dismantle somebody's board on turn 2, because you know how combo decks are. They're gonna set this amazing board turn 1, and you have to be able to break it. And this card is gonna be able to help us do just that. Now, the next card we're running, guys, Super Poly. This card in this deck is basically free. The reason why is because with Zombie World, it basically turns all monsters into zombies. So you can go into the Draco Necro, or you can go into Eldlich the Mad Golden Lord. The other one, guys, this is right here, an awesome card. Basically, the whole deck is kind of built around this card. We're gonna play 2 copies of Zombie World. This card right here turns all monsters into zombies, as long as they are face up on the field or they are in the graveyard. So this right here is poison for decks like Tri-Brigade, who need very specific types of monsters to be able to function. The other card we're running, guys, we are running 2 copies of Elixir of Black Awakening. This is an awesome card. We run it at 2 because you want to see it very often. This is one of the cards that's gonna help us bring Eldlich the Golden Lord, but if we already have a Golden Lord, we can go into any other zombie monster. Now, just like every other elixir card, when they are sent to the graveyard, if you didn't activate them that turn, you can banish them to get another card from the Eldlich archetype onto the field. So the elixirs get you the golden lands, and the golden lands get you the elixirs. And we also play one copy of Elixir of White Destiny. This card right here is going to help you a lot if your Eldlich, the Golden Lord in graveyard, is getting called by the grave or Deity Crow. You're going to be able to snatch that Golden Lord right before that happens. And the last one, guys, Foolish Burial. This card is amazing in this deck. I apologize for the glare, guys. I'll go ahead and show it right here so you see what it is, and then put it back here. But Foolish Burial is going to help you throw any of those zombie monsters that activate in the graveyard or that you want in the graveyard straight from your deck. So it's basically, the way I look at it, is kind of like a fourth Unizombie. All right, guys, and that's it for the spells. Moving on to the traps, guys, we're gonna go ahead and play 3 copies of Elixir of Scarlet Sanguine. This is by far the best Elixir card. It allows you to special summon your Eldlich or zombie monsters in attack position from the deck or the graveyard, which is where they're gonna be most of the time. Now, to complement this card, we play 3 copies of Conquistador of the Golden Land. If there's an Eldlich face up on the field, you can destroy a card on the field that is face up. And the cool thing about this card is that it does not target, so you can just destroy any card that has targeting protection. Then the next one we're gonna play, guys, we're gonna play 3 copies of Huaquero of the Golden Land. This is basically the DD Crow of the deck. And just like any other Golden Land, well, the Huaquero and the Conquistador have the ability that if they are in the graveyard, you can banish them the turn that you didn't use them, and then you can set an elixir card straight from the deck face down, which is amazing. Now, next thing we're gonna play, guys, this is something really spicy. We play 1 Golden Land Forever. This card right here, guys, is an Omni Negate as long as we have Eldlich, the Golden Lord, face up on the field. The only thing you need to do is you have to be able to tribute a zombie monster, and in this deck, that is not an issue. There will always be other zombie monsters helping you out that you can get rid of. For instance, Unizombie, a lot of times you just use it, do what you got to do with Unizombie, and then just get rid of it as cost for this card. Then the next thing we play, guys, this is what makes the deck very strong, is Rivalry of the Warlords. Now, this card right here, you can only control 1 type of monster, and a lot of decks, guys, they need different types of monsters to be able to play. A lot of decks are just a combination of 2 different archetypes that work well together. Now, even if it's a deck that is just 1 archetype, that is just 1 type of monster, a lot of times they need to go into extra deck monsters to continue their combos or do what they need to do. And a lot of the time, those extra deck monsters are not the same type as the main monsters of the deck. So this card right here can stop your opponent from summoning any of those monsters. Now, the cool thing about this card is that along with Zombie World, when you put these 2 cards together, Zombie World turns everything into zombies. So if they already have a monster, no matter what type it is, it's already a zombie. And because of Rivalry of the Warlords, they're not allowed to play any other type. So whatever they have in their hand, which most likely will not be a zombie, they will not be able to summon it because they already control a zombie. Because Zombie World turns their monsters into zombies and they're locked into that type. And unless you're doing a mirror match, chances are they're not playing any zombies. Alright, guys, and that's it for the traps. Alright, guys, we've made it to the very last portion of the video. Now we're going to go over the extra deck monsters. Now for the extra deck monsters, we're going to run a lot of fusion materials because you have super polymerization that is basically free, like I mentioned, because of Zombie World, but also because it's a great card against the meta right now. There's a lot of dark type monsters out there. There's a lot of fusions. There's a lot of stuff that we can go into. So the first card we're going to go over, guys, is we play 1 copy of the King. We play 1 copy of Eldlich, the Mad Golden Lord. This card right here, all you need is Eldlich plus a level 5 or higher zombie monsters. And when Zombie World is on the field, anything level 5 or higher that your opponent has is game. Now the next one, guys, we're going to play 1 Draco Necro. This card right here, for some reason, it's kind of weird, but it's a dragon type. But it requires 2 zombies. Now, keep in mind that if you have Zombie World, everything is a zombie. If you have Rivalry of the Warlords, you can only special summon or bring out, zombie monsters. So you actually are not able to use this card if Rivalry and Zombie World is face up on the field, because it becomes a zombie when it hits the field, but anytime before that, it's a dragon type. So you're not able to use it when Zombie World and Rivalry of the Warlords is active. Just keep that in mind. Now the next one, guys, we play Starving Venom Fusion, one of the most generic cards that you can go into with your Super Poly. The next thing we're gonna do, guys, we're gonna go ahead and play one Predaplant. You have a lot of archetypes that play fusions, especially cards like, Red Eyes Arc Dragoon, or the new Despia archetype. You already have, Shaddolls, all these different decks that play a bunch of fusions. All you need is a fusion monster and a dark monster, and you can go into Predaplant Dragastapelia. Now, the next card, guys, we play one Mud Dragon of the Swamp. Again, super generic fusion material to go into. We play one copy of Divine Arsenal AA Zeus. This card right here is scary. Just keep in mind that if you play any of the Elixir cards, you will be locked into zombie monsters, okay? So you won't be able to bring them onto the field. Now, the way you make them, you have a couple options here. Because you're playing 2 Eldlich the Golden Lord, you can go into the Rail Cannons. We have Gustav Max, and we also have Juggernaut Libe. We have these 2 right here that can help us finish games, especially when, clock is running out of time and you just have to be able to attack over your opponent or inflict 2,000 directly to win the game. Those cards are clutch. Now, the next thing, guys, we do play the Golden Land cards, which are level 5, so we can end their light monsters, so we can go into Constellar Pleiades. And we also play Vampire Sucker. This card right here, there's a really cool combo where you just make it using Doom King Balladrock, and then on the next standby phase, when Doom King activates his effect, where he brings himself onto the field from the graveyard, that will trigger Vampire Sucker's effect to get you a free card. And since Vampire Sucker is going to activate her effect and the Doom King is going to be already on the field, that will also trigger Doom King's effect. So Doom King and this card synergize amazingly. Now, we also play one Avedrid Savior. This one right here, sometimes if you have 2 zombie monsters, but you still need to throw things into the graveyard to get your strategy going, that's what's going to take care of the job. And then because we play the Super Poly, we have Predaplant Verte Anaconda. You already know what that card does. Should have been banned, just saying, but it's still here, so we're going to use it and abuse it. Now, the next thing, guys, that we're going to go ahead and play is we're going to play, generic removal, Nightmare Phoenix, in case somebody is playing Mystic Mind or anything like that. And we play one Link Kuriboh for the Glow of Bloom. And finally, we also play one Link Spider, because every now and then you will have to get rid of one of your Golden Land cards. Okay, guys? So that is the video, guys. I'm very excited to play this deck. I think it's going to do very well against the meta. Again, usually I used to play this with hand traps like Ash Blossom and Ghostbell, but with Crossout Designator right around the corner, you want to play cards that are not too common. And everyone who can afford the card, which is most competitive players, they're gonna have that card in their deck, so you don't want to be running a bunch of generic hand traps, at least for this format, or at least until the format shapes a little bit, and then we'll see how good really Crossout Designator turns out to be. Alright, guys, well, thank you for taking the time to watch these videos, guys. I really appreciate it. If you enjoyed my content, please go ahead and subscribe, like, and I will see you in the next one. Enjoy.